Well, Dr. Arger, I just wanted to say thank you for all of your work with AIUM, and you were the first physician to start ultrasound in medical education. I think it was on St. Patrick's Day in 2007. That was 9 years ago, and you really let the floodgates open. But so, what do you think now that you've seen this SonoSlam? What do you think of this whole event?
I think that it is absolutely spectacularly fantastic. You have no idea what it was like when I first started, about around 1971, probably before many of the people were even born here. Anyway, and the time that I started with, actually, it was just, you can't imagine what the pictures were like, and nobody would believe that it was possible to do anything with that. And what I did was, in order to start it at the University of Pennsylvania, what I did was, and this is the truth, I took call for 3 years, 24/7, in order to show people that this was a good thing to have. And my early experiences with surgeons and things like that were, you got to be kidding me. And I'll give you one other story, then I'll be quiet.
Yes, no.
Anyway, surgeons would come to me, and I would scan them, and I'd say, okay, the thing you're looking for is a 4 centimeters deep. Oh, Dr. Arger, you don't know anything about that. We're surgeons. We have our hands in there. We know how deep we are. I say, what you guys don't know is you're in the anterior third of the body, and there's a whole 2/3 of the body you're not even seeing when you're in there. And then they would come back to me and say, you know what? You were right. And that's what started me. It was things like that got me started. And then I really had... I worked very hard, and people listened to me. And I want to say one other thing.
Yes.
The one thing about ultrasound I think that is so fantastic is that you have patient contact, which you don't have in many areas, okay, of imaging. And number two, what you can do as a sonologist or a physician, you can scan the patient, and you can tell the patient that the patient is actually okay, and send the patient out all relieved of their symptoms. And conversely, if you find an abnormality, you call up the doctor who sent there, and you ask him, you pressure him to see the patient immediately, so the patient can immediately start getting their therapy for the abnormality which you saw. Okay, and I just think that ultrasound is a terrific way of imaging, and deserves all the hoorah that it's getting now.
It gets the doctor to the bedside. Do you have any advice? Do you have any advice to medical students that maybe encounter barriers to trying to learn ultrasound, or because it sounds like you've had some barriers, whether it's with administration, when there's barriers, how can these students, is there any advice to how to persevere and try to continue their knowledge of and love of ultrasound?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have to persevere, because in my case, I tried for I did an article that appeared in the literature about 10 years ago, in which just showed that the medical students could learn ultrasound, okay? I then sent out 4 different applications to 4 major organizations for to get a grant, including the AIUM. You might want to know, which makes me laugh. Anyway, and all 4 turned me down, okay, including some of the big organizations around in radiology and other places. And then, so I think that you have to just keep after it. At the University of Pennsylvania, I've been there for 45 years, but anyway, when I tried to get the curriculum committee to include ultrasound in the curriculum of the medical school, and I tried probably for 8 or 9 years and got nowhere. It was a time for me to retire. I turned it over to Harvey Nissenbaum, who's been a longtime friend, and he did a great job, along with the emergency room physicians at Penn, to finally bring this about and get a $1 million grant, which enabled us to get this organization, this kind of training going at Penn. So I'm really, when I see this, I'm really incredibly thrilled. I just have one other thing to say. If any students see this, just remember one thing. When you're doing this, you have in your hands a powerful machine to give great relief to the patient as well as great medical care to the patient if you use it, but you have to be able to do it well, learn how to do it well, keep yourself upgraded, and so that you can do the best job you can, because this is a great imaging modality, and you can do a whole lot of great work and be a functioning, wonderful physician.
I just want to thank you, Dr. Arger, for all of your pioneering work, to have that vision, for persevering, and then for making all this happen. Now that we couldn't have been here without you, so I just want to thank you. And tonight we're going to award the Peter Arger Cup to the winning team, and just wanted to honor you with all your efforts toward ultrasound in this movement. So thank you so much for being here today with us.
Well, I thank you for that, and I'm really very humbly thankful. I just can't believe it. Thank you very much.